Hey guys, it's Upa here. So today I want to talk about the best resource that you can have for your account, and basically just one of the best decisions you can make when it comes to trying to improve your account and your understanding of the game, and basically when it comes to all decision making related to your account. So this resource isn't actually something in the game, and I'm sure most of you can guess what I'm referring to, and that's the infinite Magicraid Discord. So I think for most of you, it shouldn't come as a surprise that I'm talking about this, because I mention this in almost every video I make, how I say that you should come here and ask questions, ask for advice, and of course I wouldn't mention it if it isn't something I believe in and something that I've experienced myself. So of course this is the official Infinite Magicraid Discord. In the description of all my videos I have it, so if you want to join you can do that right away. And let's talk about what exactly is so useful about this Discord. So first of all, we have just these first few channels, which are like server rules and server guides. Of course, you should look through the rules yourself, but I mean the general gist is just be a good person, right? Don't be rude, don't advertise other games, all that. So yeah, I don't want to go through that. I want to go through the actual important stuff. So first of all, we have this FAQ for newbies. So this would be useful for many of you newer players. These are just some very basic information, but of course still good to know when you're a new player and you don't know what you don't know, and any advice given would be useful for you. So of course this is useful. But for the average player, this is where I think this will be the main features that are much more useful, right? So first off, with the announcements, and this is really useful to plan out how you're going to play the game for the rest of the week, because in this game it's all about saving your resources and using them optimally, right? So for example, many players save their energy for double emblem, this double emblem challenge drop. So this for Altar of War, because otherwise if you want to get your max emblems for just one character, that costs about 1500 energy. So many players wait for this double emblem drop event to save on energy so that they can build a character for 750 energy instead. So this is just one of many examples where people wait for these this basically like the event calendar at the start of every week on Monday, and when you see the event that is happening this week, you can have an idea of what you should be saving your energy for, if there's any interesting events coming soon, and so on. So additionally, besides the events itself, this week we don't have anything that interesting. It also shows you the summon pool of the summon which is coming this week. So in this case, this will be a new miracle banner, and you can see that we are going to get a new miracle hero bill over here. And additionally, you can see the other characters that are being offered in that same banner. So once again, this helps you plan if there's any character that you see that you want. You can save your summons for Friday instead of summoning immediately, for example. So you can see also once in a while there will be some additional announcements that may not be related to the event calendar itself. So every Friday there's a new server. This is announced as well, and you can see in this scenario, you can see that on this day they gave us a free gift. So it's just nice, they let us know that we're getting a free gift. Then in older ones, you can see another example where you want to see what's coming up in the near future. Double the legend event, so players know, okay, let's save my summons, let's save my pity until this event before I summon. So many other things as well. Just a little bit more examples showing that they gave compensation for Fair Arena, which had a bug in the past. This one is talking about a bug which occurred for the Erato summons. We had a whole video about this in the past. So just lots of useful information in this channel alone. And then additionally, we get this every Wednesday. We will get a link to the patch notes. So every Wednesday we will get patch notes for the update that will come out on Thursday. And in the patch notes, which comes out every week, you can see even more things which are coming soon, not just events itself, but for example, you can see here Lucifer Exclusive 4, changes to the Luli store, and of course it differs every week, so there's always lots of new content to look forward to, and you can find out about them in advance over here. Additionally, this is where they announce new skills of the character. So this is every Tuesday, which means tomorrow we'll find out what the new character build will do. And then when it's a limited time hero, we can see the effects of the character as well. So another very useful channel as well. And then this one's probably the one which is used the least, but also the most interesting. So once in a while, we'll get a post in this dev feedback over here. And this is where they talk about large scale changes they're making to the game, be it in the future or something they're doing right now. So for example, in this most recent dev feedback, you can see They talked about how they changed the beginner wish pool and many other different changes and improvements to the game. So once in a while as well, like I said, this is probably the most interesting channel. They announced Guild Ball 7 and the new Ultimate Challenge over here. I think this was mentioned about a week in advance or so. And even further back, they mentioned Spiral of Fate, and there actually was a roadmap over here. So I think this roadmap is, for the most part, has been very accurate. Of course, if you are involved in development in other things like beyond this game, or you're familiar with it, you would know that these sort of roadmaps may not always be entirely accurate because development times can always vary. It's very dynamic, but so far this has been a very accurate roadmap for us to see what's coming this year. So we are currently around between season 2 and 3, and you can see above content may be adjusted. So of course, don't take this as like gospel, but it's a nice way to see the potential updates coming in the near future. So many other interesting things that they announced in this game can be found in this channel. Then next we have the redeem codes. So there are some codes which are always available, and most players redeem them when they start. But once in a while we will get some codes which only last for a limited period of time. So recently we had this summer one. We had this one where week 1 3 championships in Ultimate Division. So just keep a lookout on this channel for free rewards. So then we have this events channel. This one hasn't been used in a long time. You can see last it was used was last year. And this one is just like community events, and then you can get some rewards. So this one I wouldn't care too much about it. If you happen to see something happen here, which is pretty rare, then of course you can take part in those events. This one's another really important one. This is zone merge. So zone affects the people you fight in Classic Arena and Advanced Arena primarily. And this, once in a while, they will merge different servers together. And this is because, sometimes players leave the game. So whenever a new player joins the game, most of the time they will join in the later server. So over time, older servers will have less and less players, and so they will combine certain servers into a zone so that there will be sufficient players. So you don't fight the same people every single time. So once every few months, they'll refresh the zone. So you can see I was in server 128, for example. So previously I was in this zone, server 121 to 128. And now in this new zone I'm in server 128 to 136. So once in a while this will change. And this is pretty important, I would say, for you to see when it happens, because it allows you to understand who are the people you're facing. So if there are people in these servers that now you will start fighting them in Classic Arena and Advanced Arena. And yeah, something to look out for also once every few months. This is also a nice one, the poll. Every month during the monthly quest, we can get one legendary hero for free, and this is over here, the poll where you can decide along with the community which character to go for. So I mean, most players have suggested that instead of giving this poll, we get just one box where you can choose one of the options. I think this has been suggested to the devs several times now, but whether they make that changes, well, that's up to them, right? But of course, it's always nice to have a decision and see and hopefully get the character that you pull for. So I think next month we are getting Roll 9 for free. Roll 9 is actually very solid at exclusive 3 for PvP content, so yeah, it's always nice that we have this choice. And then we have video spotlight. So I always post my videos here, you can see, and there are many content creators here as well which post their videos. So we have Invu also and several other content creators who post their videos here. This is a good place to look for resources or guides for different areas of the game, or just entertainment in general. So yeah, then these are also the main ones. So we have gameplay discussion and mentor chat. So these are the two main ones I'll talk about. So they're pretty similar. I mean, both talk about the game, but gameplay talk is just general things about the game itself, or sometimes some like off-topic stuff, but for the most part it's just things about the game. And if you're a new player, this is definitely the most useful channel for you. If there's anything you need help for, you can just ask here. So you can see there are many players who actively help over here. We have like the dedicated mentor team, which is over here. You can see we have Deepu, Julian, and there's a few other players who aren't shown here who are mentors as well. You can identify them from their blue name and their blue tag over here. But not just them, there are many other players who are very useful and very helpful. We have Sandcaster here, who's been helping other players also very recently. And I mean, there are just lots of veteran players in this chat who are more than willing to help you guys. So when you have any questions, you should always ask here. I'm also active in this channel as well, try and help people as much as I can, so I strongly recommend if you need help, you ask in this channel. This is also another really good one. So IMR Hero Bot. So you can just type the name of any character that you want, and it will show you the emblems that you should be using, and a general like tier list, I guess, of the character itself, and the auras and echoes that they recommend, along with some additional notes where necessary. So let's talk about a character like Lance, right? Everyone knows Lance. And you just type the character's name, and immediately you will see that the character shows up from the bot, and then they recommend auras, echoes. You can see the notes here as well. Lance is starting to find his way into a PvP meta. Okay, this is slightly outdated, but still, for the most part, especially if you're a new player, very relevant. And I think the thing most people use this bot for is definitely the emblems over here, which you can see is they give the recommendation, and most of the emblems from this bot are very accurate, so you can follow them without having to think much else. I think there's also some other commands you can use. So yeah, there's this food command over here you can use. If you use food, this shows all the epic heroes that are useless and you can use as food for your heroes. The epic heroes which aren't here, you should save. Then I think there's a few others. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I've covered the main ones. Once in a while you will see other people use different commands. Maybe tier list works as well, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so tier list works as well. I think this is kept fairly up to date, but in my opinion, some of the rankings, they don't give the full story, right? Because, for example, Nordek is definitely not the 9th best character in the game. He's very strong, but definitely not the 9th best. So, take this with a grain of salt, but useful as a general guideline of what characters are good. So, yeah, it's updated to Nicolith. I don't see Felicia over here. So maybe it's not extremely up to date, but still good as a general idea of how strong characters are. But don't take that to mean something like, oh, Nordek is strictly better than Jack and Roll. Definitely not. Besides that, some of these channels aren't used as much, so I don't really use that myself. You can see I don't really use any of these. You have guilds as well. If you are looking for a guild, you can use this. You can use this page over here and then request, and then just request to join one of these communities. And then this is also a really useful one. So if you want your feedback to be heard by developers, there's these channels in support. So first, there's known bugs. So this is messages sent out mostly by the moderators, and when there's an issue going on in the game, this is where you can find out whether the developers are aware of it, or for you to find out if there's any issues with the game, a message will be sent here. And then we have report about here as well. Report about, you can create your own post over here. So you can type whatever you want. You know, I have a bug, something like that, and then you can create a new post with a picture and so on. And the moderators will see this first of all, and as well as the developers. So oftentimes you can see the moderator will contact the support team, and then the support team will take a look. So this is a good way to make sure that any issues you have with the game are heard, and you can expedite any issues you have, like any bugs or so on, to the support team so that they can take a look at it quickly. So similarly, this is very similar to report a bug, except it's not in this like post form, it's more of a discussion form. So this is still very useful to talk about bugs. You know, when people identify there's an issue but they don't know what the cause of it, people can talk about it here. And lastly, I think this is probably the last part of the support section, which is important. Suggestion discussions and submit suggestions. So if you have any suggestions for the game, you can just submit it over here, and it will show up in this suggestion log. And then you can actually vote on other people's suggestions over here. So let's see. This guy says, improve Felicia's PvE performance. She's good in PvP, but yeah, not so good in PvE content. I kind of agree. She's pretty weak PvE wise, but maybe there'll be some content which uses her in the future. I'm not gonna decide to upvote or downvote this. And then we have this one. This puzzle in the Space Temple is not fun to solve. Feels like it was designed to be a headache rather than a puzzle. So I disagree with this one, because I mean, part of the fun of the puzzles is the challenge, right? So if you don't like the challenge, just search a video online. You know, I have a guide online which you can use. But if you like the challenge, then of course it's good that it's difficult. So I'm gonna downvote this. And this is a really nice implementation by the developers to have this suggestion channel, and just And they actually do take a look at these suggestions. So for instance, I think I saw in suggestion discussion, it was earlier today, someone talked about how the banner which we are about to get this Friday had one character on repeat. So the current banner we have has, if we can find it, has Surtur. And initially, this banner also had Surtur, but someone gave some feedback saying, why are we getting Surtur, the same banner in a row? And because of that, they changed Surtur over here to Arns, which is why you can see that this message was edited. So yeah, the developers actually listen, or they may not always implement the suggestions, but they definitely read them and take them into consideration. So beyond that, the rest of these channels I feel are not that important. You can see there's individual discussions for each area of content, but for the most part, I think you're better off just sending them to Gameplay Talk and Mentor specifically because people are more active there. And I mean, it's still relevant to the game as well, or if you need help for these channels. So in my opinion, these channels are not that useful. But we also have this show-off one, so this one's just kind of for fun. Once in a while, you can see, well, we also have DOT here, which is one of the mods, and he always posts comparisons when he levels up the exclusives of his characters. I find this very useful to understand how strong each character's exclusives is. But besides that, I mean, this one is just for people to show things that they have, some good drop or something. So for example, you see 151 speed gear, this is really, really crazy, really strong. Let's see what else we have, if there's anything interesting over here. Oh, so I sent this a while back. I got a S Mythic Skill Damage Blessing from Endless Coister on a random drop. This was super, super lucky. So yeah, you can see people's reactions as well, right? So I got like 7 of this fire emoji, this is a really, really lucky drop. This guy as well, this guy got a speed plus 5, this is really, really crazy. I actually won this. 195 speed on one piece of gear, that's insane. So very, very, very lucky. So this channel is just for fun, but sometimes it's nice to just look at it, right? And then lastly, we have just some other mini guides and other useful resources. So there's a tier list over here. This is a Google Doc which shows the characters rated out of 6 for different areas of content. I think this one is much more accurate than the one I showed earlier in the hero board. But once again, like most tier lists, take it with a grain of salt and just use it as a general guideline. Then we also have emblem guides. I'm actually don't think this is that useful. If you want emblems, just use the board. Same with aura. If you want to know what auras to use, just use the board. And then lastly, there's some very, very outdated guides you can see here. The most recent one was 2023, so none of these seem that useful, but maybe you can take a look and you'll find something interesting. So yeah, I mean, this was just me going through the different channels in the Discord, right? But I think some people really underrate how useful it is. They only take a look at like the Gameplay Talk and Mentor channels to just chat, but there's really so many resources that you can find here. And as a new player, once again, this is like the holy grail of resources for you to improve your account and so on. You should definitely make use of the Discord if you can and ask questions, use the hero board, look at the upcoming updates and basically everything. This is an amazing resource. Not many games have a Discord, I would say, disestablished, and more importantly, with many people willing to help. So, take advantage of it, and yeah, hope to see you guys on the Discord. So that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys next time.